happening, guys? Welcome back to the Living Banter Podcast. This is going to be our Saturday edition with an incredible guest. Today we have a really awesome woman today. Her name is Krystle K. I do not know how to say her surname, but how do you say your surname?
Kristanovich
Is it German?
is Russian.
Oh, that's such a cool name. But guys, we're going to get to know Krystle a bit more later in the episode. And Krystle, most importantly, how are you doing today?
Beautiful. I'm really excited to be here. I'm getting ready to have some banter.
Oh, yes, that's what it's about. Let's go. But James, how are you doing today, pal?
I am doing very well. It's very cold today. I've had way too much coffee.
So
I am vibrating right now. Oh.
It hasn't rained in a minute, so here in Cape Town, it's like storming. This morning it was so bad.
Yeah.
But at least you're getting rain.
Hail here.
Did you guys get hail?
Yeah, I also got hail.
Oh,
Literally just when I got home.
Am I the only one who didn't get
poured
hail? Now I'm disappointed. Oh, come on.
No.
Oh, well. So anyways, let's dive straight into what we're going to be doing today.
Yeah.
So you, I know you used to teach at my school. You taught drama. So you moved on to life coaching. What's that all about? Can you give us like a rundown of what life coaching is at its core?
So coaching is, if you think of like when you go to the gym and you have a trainer, they are someone who understands how the body works and how diet is something that is a key player in what happens in your physiological material. And basically, and a life coach or business coach, or depending on what stream you're going towards, is someone who knows how the brain works. So we know how people work. So it's like having someone who's on your side, who's listening to you, who believes that you have potential. They know that all the answers are inside of you. There might just be something that's getting in your way of unleashing this inner potential that's really sitting deep within you. So it's like having someone like a cheerleader, just in a very formalized way.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
That's so cool. Yeah.
So also, I want to ask, how does it work when you initially get a client? How do you what are some of the like processes you go through, the steps you take with that specific person?
Yeah.
And how long do you stick around with them?
Okay. Well, amazing questions. Nice, guys. So I feel like, is this a promotional video for coaching? And I'm into it. I love it. So basically what happens is someone will approach me either from word of mouth referral or through social media or my website or whatever. And I will send them an FAQ, frequently asked questions, because a lot of the time people confuse coaching with counseling or with a mentor or with a consultant, because they similar streams, but there's something very specifically different about them. Because in coaching, we don't tell you what to do and we don't give you advice and we don't say like, oh, I think you should try this. So what ends up happening is I have to send through all that information so people understand the role of what a coach does and what the client needs to do. And once they understand that, unless they already know, then I send them a contract, and my contract just outlines the role, like what are they responsible for, what am I responsible for, how long is our relationship going to be? And generally speaking, some people will want somewhere around 5 to 8 sessions, and some people just want 1 session. It depends on the person and on the topic.
Yeah, that's so cool. So you do business and life coaching.
Oh, you know what? It's an interesting scenario because as I'm going through things, I'm like, oh, this is fun. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. But I've noticed that I'm actually becoming more and more specialized in career coaching and in performance coaching.
Oh, yeah.
So it's more about coaching someone to either figure out the career that they really, truly want to be in, or if they're unhappy in their current career, what is it that's happening and what can they adjust in order to be happy in that career?
That's so cool. But when you say performance coaching, are you talking about like art and performing, or in just a career and how they perform in that?
So it can be, it's an ambiguous word. So it's either for your performance in your current position, but I have noticed that people are also approaching me for on-camera coaching. So a lot of people are wanting to go online and do videos for their social media marketing and need a bit of coaching about what to do in those videos.
Wow. So which one did you start with firstly? Was it more leaning towards?
So when I started, I was kind of like, because I worked, so as James says, I was a drama teacher at his high school. And I've been a drama teacher for, I don't know, a long time, for 15 years. And
incredible.
It was incredible. I love it very much.
Yeah, I still miss my drama teacher. She was the best. I feel like all drama teachers. Norman Ainshelwood.
Was it Ms.
Constantia? Yeah.
Oh, Yana, I know her. I studied with her.
Yeah. Drama teachers are lit. They're the best.
They are. Well, do you know why?
It's their personality. They just don't hold back, and they're always fun people.
You know,
love conversation.
Most people say that about their drama teachers and English teachers. And my theory is that people who study drama study the human. We study people. When you learn to be an actor, you're thinking, who is this person? Why are they doing what they're doing? What is it that they're doing? What's getting in their way? What do they do to overcome it? How do they get there? So you're constantly questioning motive and actions, because you know that your behavior doesn't necessarily mean that that's who you are. So it's almost like drama teachers have insight to humans, and it's the same with coaching.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. That's so cool.
Yeah, so I was actually leaning towards life coaching, and by chance and with all the clients who approached me, it was the topic was always geared towards careers. And I thought, well, it feels great. So let's do it.
So I know
That's
you were, when you were teaching at my school, you also went and studied it during that time. Am I getting that right? So with now that you've done it in a more professional light, do you think you would go and study further more towards the career side of things, or do you think you'll just carry on working?
So in terms of what I'm currently doing, I'm still doing a postgraduate diploma in coaching. So I still have one more module. I always think it's the last one, and then another one arrives, and I'm like, oh, I'm learning. That's cool.
Oh, that's life.
Exactly. So at the moment, I'm gearing towards the end, and this postgraduate diploma is like an honors degree. I'm not sure if I'm going to study further just yet. If I want to specialize even deeper, I think I'm going to use more of the practical side and have a bit of experiential learning and working with people, and just giving myself a bit of freedom to see like where exactly I want to fit in. But even as I've been coaching people in their careers, I'm also realizing that the main the golden thread between every single person is that sometimes we struggle with who we are. And because we don't have a definitive answer for who we are, it's very difficult to decide what you want.
True.
So I'm thinking of going into something where I specialize in maybe like identity or self-awareness, and going very, very deep into that. But I've trained in all of that. So now I've just got to pick a speciality.
Sure.
Awesome. So
cool.
You said you were doing you were a drama teacher, and now you're doing life coaching. So as you said, you want people to kind of discover their identities. Do you feel like the people you interacted with, especially during high school, do you think that I'm trying to find the right words for this. Do you think that you essentially helped a lot of those people grow to who they needed to be, and as well as that, did they help you grow to also decide that you wanted to focus on life coaching a bit more?
Yes. So basically, you know, I've informally been coaching people since I was a teacher. And
Wow.
now that I'm formalizing it, I'm realizing that that's what I was naturally doing. Because I'm sure, as you can remember, I don't like to tell people what to do. I like people to make the decision about what they're going to do. Because if I tell you what you're going to do, if I say to you, oh, I think you should do this, now what's happening is you're taking on my expectation instead of making the decision for yourself, which is your actions are for yourself anyway.
Wow.
So if you're going to do it according to my expectation, you're doing something according to me, not according to yourself. So maybe by deciding, oh, Krystle said this and therefore I want to do it, sure, that's part of the decision. But if it comes from you, so if a boy, like for example, when boys used to come to me at school and be like, I have this problem, I'd say, well, what's the problem? And they'd explain it to me and I'd say, well, what do you want to do about it? And they go, I don't know. And I say, well, why don't you just give me a few ideas of what you could do? And as you talk through that and you start externalizing this internal battle that you have, that's when you usually find clarity about what it is you want to do. And it's usually because as soon as you say the thing that's the right thing, you feel it.
Yeah, so true. Because I feel like also, I've heard this before, I'm not sure if it was in counseling or life coaching, but you can only tell someone to do so much things, but they have to internalize it themselves. Like you can only take a horse to the well. You can't make it drink the water. So it's kind of that thing of they have to have that conviction themselves. And that's when the change will happen completely, which is awesome.
I mean, look, if you think about it, your friends come to you, oh my God, I got this huge problem. They're like, and then they go on and on about it. And you sit there very patiently and then you go, okay, I know exactly what you need to do. Do they do it? No. And then you get upset because you're like, I just spent like 20 minutes explaining in detail how you can solve this problem. And then you didn't even listen to
So true. True story.
So going and talking about drama, there was something that very big that happened at Weinberg while you were there, known as the Shrek musical. Now, I was a part of it. It was absolutely awesome. It was definitely an experience to go through and do that. It felt very professional. It felt very high level. It felt like we were doing a movie. By the end of it, it felt like we'd just gone through like shooting for months and months, because we did this like drama camp during the holidays, and it was basically a dream come true for most drama kids. So one of the things like I always think about is how the hell did you manage so many teenagers? Because there was a lot of us.
That's a gift.
Yeah, was there any like behind the scenes things that we didn't really know about that was going on, or?
No, I'm amazing.
Yes.
Come on.
Well, I mean, I'm not really joking. But you know, James, how did I manage that? In order for that production to work, I needed buy-in from everyone. So I worked on the relationships. And at the end of the day, if you are going to do anything and you are the person in charge and it's your baby, it's your vision, if you're telling everybody what to do, just like I explained earlier, people are not going to listen to you. So I was very aware of the fact that in order for people to listen to me, they had to trust me. And in order for them to go along with it, they had to buy into it. And I mean, I'm sure you remember I had to fire people in the beginning because some people just went buy into it. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But in order to make the success that we had, I had to be hyper aware of every single person who was involved. And that's actually super easy. That's easy. Because all you got to do is give 5 minutes, just 5 minutes of your time to someone. And that one beautiful, intimate moment where you give someone all your attention, and that's it, you got them. you know? And I mean, I'm sure you remember that one night I had to make a huge speech because everyone was like, it was unraveling. Like,
Yeah.
there were tears and people were making mistakes and someone forgot a whole verse and
wasn't that opening night or something like that?
no, it was the Tuesday.
It was the Tuesday, yeah.
Everyone was exhausted. And I just had to say to everyone, like, I don't expect you to be perfect.
Yeah.
And this is my play. So what are you doing? Just go and have some fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's big.
I'm not gonna lie. I remember
awesome.
I actually am picturing that moment in my head. It was insane. It was actually like, it was like that one motivational speech that you get before, like, in like the movies and stuff. But it was quite a bit, it felt a lot more aggressive at the time. But like looking back, I'm like, that was that tipping point we needed. But yeah, that production was something else. Didn't we sold out almost all the nights, didn't we? Or something crazy like that.
Sure.
I think we sold more tickets than
That's
any
crazy.
of the other productions.
Yeah. But that's something that we've done. So speaking about the school, you taught at a boys' school. So something very, very interesting about that is there was a whole big thing about gender-based violence, and I think you're one of the big teachers to always have like have the sort of, I do want to say feminist, but there's so many bad connotations about that.
No, I'm a feminist. Go for it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So so you were always a very big feminist, but you were the right kind of feminist, to put it out there, the right kind.
Yeah.
And one of the things, one of the questions I've written down here is, how did it feel, the toxic masculinity from the boys versus the teachers? Because I know there's always going to be a little bit on each side. So could you, by chance, compare the two, if at all possible?
Look, if you think about it, every single thing that we do as humans is learned behavior. Everything. Nothing is of your making. You've learnt it. So either you've tried something and it failed and then you stop or you add or whatever. So everything is learned behavior. And when you learn that there's a boundary that you can push and there's a boundary that you can go over and not get in trouble, you're going to do that. That's human behavior. It's human nature. That's the horrible part of us.
Yeah.
And if I think about toxic masculinity, so many people don't even realize that's what they're doing. That's not a justification. So my whole approach and the way of being around that was, I'm going to enlighten them on what they're doing. And if they continue, then I'm going to throw my out the cot.
Which is understandable. Yeah.
I'm not going to hold
For
your
sure.
car. I can swear.
Yeah,
can
it's
beep it
okay.
out.
I've done this before.
You know, it's very, and most of the time, people's behavior is not who they are. It's just a manifestation of something that's inside of them. So in terms of the boys, it's my duty as a teacher to educate them on that. So if I'm going to just accept it, I felt, well, I've got to tell them what is right and wrong according to the way you're treating me, and I'm gonna set my boundaries. And if I'm not setting my boundaries, then I'm getting upset with myself. It's not that easy for everyone though.
Yeah.
So, and in terms of with the staff, you know, a lot of things in schools are systematic. So there's systematic oppression, systematic racism, systematic genderism, I don't know what you want to call it. Everything is systematic because everything is created as a system. And it's actually the system that has to be dismantled before everything else.
Yes.
So, but I would just call people out. Like, I really just don't have a problem.
Yeah.
You know, and if they don't appreciate that, then they're not my people, and I'll just carry on with my life.
Yeah. Because I do remember there was one situation where I wouldn't say situation because that makes it like really hyped up, but something happened where something very uncomfortable was said. I don't know all the details, but one of the female teachers saw that you spoke up against that and was really like, wow, okay, you can actually like say that, because it was someone who was higher on like the school ecosystem than you, and you straight up called them out on whatever it was. Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely shown that has happened. I'm not going to mention any names at all, but that's something I have heard.
Oh wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, you know, again, if you've never seen someone stand up for themselves, how do you know what that looks like? It's learned behavior.
Yeah.
So, and this is also why representation is so important, because everybody needs to be represented. Help me! Oh my gosh, what just happened?
That's all good.
You know, that's why it's so important that we need to see someone who's like us doing something that we want to do. Because if we don't see it, we don't know that it exists. And that's why people get so hyped when it's the first Black American president, or it's the first South African Netflix series that's #1 in America. It's because we've been represented for the first time. Now you're going, oh, cool, I can do that. I didn't think I could, but I can. So for me, I know in myself, if I don't say something, I get upset with myself for not saying something. Because that person, whether they know they're in the right or wrong, I don't care. I know that I'm in charge of what I do. I'm not in charge of changing them. I'm not in charge of the way they treat people. I'm in charge of what I do. So when I don't say something, then I'm upset with myself, because then I'm not putting in the boundaries that I want. And I'm allowing people to just push those boundaries.
Yeah, that's big.
But that, again, that's relevant for me. It might not feel, that might not feel nice for someone else or comfortable. They might need a spokesperson, and that's cool.
Everyone's different in that case.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's so cool.
I wanted to go back to a bit of life coaching and career coaching. So do you think that every person should need life coaching or career coaching?
So that is a loaded question, and I'm going to explain.
Yeah.
You only go to a life coach when you're ready to do work.
Yeah.
It's not a shortcut, and it's not something that's going to solve your problems. If anything, it's going to bring up stuff that you're going to have to resolve yourself. So it really requires work on the client's part. It's not just the coach. The coach is literally, I sit and I listen to you, and I'm listening for the words that you're using, the tone of voice that you're using, your body language, your facial expression. I'm listening to what you're talking about and what you're linking it to, according to the question that I've asked you. And then by listening to all of that, I question you on some of those things. And that usually surfaces things for us, because we don't realize that we hold things in the way that we speak and how we speak and what we speak about. And it's only when someone soundboards that back to you and you go, did I say that? Oh, I didn't realize that was what I was thinking.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. Would you say that, or what would be the tips that you'd give to some people to say how that they can become better in their field of life or better in their career?
I would say that the first thing you need to look at is your values. So what is it that you value?
That's big.
Not what your community values, not what start with you. You can always add on and be like, okay, but my community is part of me. So therefore, part of my values are within my community or my culture or my religion, whatever. But if you can think about like non-negotiables. So like my non-negotiable is authenticity, being genuine. I'm from Durban. We say genuine. So I got to be
That's
genuine.
Awesome.
I got to be who I am. If I can't be who I am, then there's something wrong and I feel uncomfortable, which is why I have to stand up for myself, which is why I have to call people out, which is why I have to, that's genuine to me. That's inside of me. That's part of my material. And if I'm not living according to my value, that non-negotiable, then that's where some of the problems come in, because then you start questioning your identity and, you know, thinking about what other people think and how does this other person do this and how come they can get it right and I can't get it right. They could just have different values. So
that's so true. And I saw also on, I love that, by the way, but I saw also on your Instagram page that you said this page is like attracting customers, in other words. So you also going to digital marketing. So you have your eggs in a few baskets, I see. But what got you so to say into digital marketing? Was that just part of, or what?
So as I started learning and going into coaching, and then going in full time. So I've taken a sabbatical from the school in order to finish this second half of my postgraduate diploma, and because I'm at home and I love social media. I think it's such a powerful platform that you can use for so much good. And it's a direct link to your people.
Literally.
Like, they're right there. You don't have to go looking. They're there. You know? And if you're friends with people who are not your people, get rid of them.
Come on.
Them.
That's a word for someone.
Yeah.
So what happened was I did a course on using social media as a marketing tool and as a way to find your ideal client or your target market or your ideal customer, whatever terminology you use depending on your field.
Yeah.
And through that, and through doing that course, I actually then someone hired me as a consultant to do their Facebook ads for them, and they're making masks. So they make these these masks that everyone's making, and with this strategy that I learned and that I helped someone else with, this person generated, I don't want to lie to you about the numbers, but as far as I can remember, it was over 10,000 Rand in sales in a week.
Sure, that's crazy.
Insane.
From nothing.
That's phenomenal. Wow.
And you know, and sure, look, it's your price point, it's your photos, it's the copy you use in your adverts, it's your knowing who your ideal client is, but just seeing how that worked, having that proof, I was like, this is amazing. And if people, because if you think about it, we're so flooded with information. So you're so flooded.
All the time. Yeah.
I would love to be flooded with stuff that was relevant to me, because then it wouldn't feel like I'm being flooded.
Yeah.
So
and it won't be spam.
Yeah. You go, hey, I have something. So the point is that you have to have something that's truly of value. You can't just be like, oh, I'm going to now target people and I'm going to sell them this crap. No, it's not about that. It's going to have something of actual value to you that you will like. I know because I know you. And I'm going to tell the people who will actually get something from this.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win.
Yeah, totally.
So since you've worked with a lot of teenagers, one of the big things is a lot of teenagers struggle with mental illnesses and depression, anxiety, and all of that. And I know in this time specifically, a lot of those teenagers are at home and they can't really interact with their teachers as much, or they're just feeling very isolated from everything. Are there any tips you could give to those kids who are at home and are struggling with their mental health? What would you say to them?
So as someone so in this lockdown, I've had some very dark days. So I know I'm bright and shiny, I'm smiling and I'm happy, but I also have dealt with things, which is also why I'm such an advocate.
All of us,
Yeah, we all go through stuff. You know, there's things that happened before, and because maybe we didn't know what we know now, it impacted us differently, and then we get triggered by things now, and it brings up that feeling from a past thing, and then it's really elevated, even though it doesn't have to be. So some things that I did to help me cope was that I made sure that I changed what I looked at every day. So what I mean by that is, if I sit at my desk when I'm working, so behind here, so instead of sitting at my desk, I moved the desk and then I faced a different wall. Or I moved it and I looked out of the door, or I swapped the chair around and I looked into the living room. So just by the view I had in front of me, just by switching that up every now and then, it kind of felt
that's
like
important. Yeah.
So that's an actual thing you can do. But the biggest thing, the main thing is you have to reach out to people. You have to.
Yeah.
You really, and I think sometimes the fear of rejection stops us from reaching out to people, and the fear of what someone's going to think of us. So it's not about just reaching out to anyone. Reach out to someone you trust.
Yeah, for sure.
Someone who you know is not going to mock you because you want to talk about your feelings. You have at least, and if you don't have that one person, you tell your teacher, because if they know, and I mean, I know at our school, you have direct access to teachers, or you tell a family member, or if you have absolutely no one, there are hotlines that are free. And there's such a stigma about calling these hotlines, but really, even if you can just verbalize what you're going through, you let it out of you.
Out of your system, yeah.
It doesn't, then it's not in you anymore. It's there, but it's not holding. It's not like, festering. But I mean, even today I spoke to one of my past pupils he's struggling a little bit because he's very extroverted, and he gets his energy from other people, and struggling. And I said to him, well, who are you reaching out to? And he's like, I'm messaging all my friends, but no one replies. And I'm like, but do they know that you need to talk? Like there's something wrong. Do they know that? Or are you just going, hey, what are you doing? And then they ignore you because they're like, I'm busy.
Yeah.
Are you honest with them about that? And then he said something about his one friend, he very rarely goes on his device. So I said to him, well, why don't you have a standing arrangement? Let's just, every Monday at 5:00 in the afternoon, let's have a cup of tea together. It can be 5 minutes, it can be half an hour, it can be whatever. And, sometimes you got to just do that kind of stuff. Like you got to think differently.
Yeah.
At school, you guys have it. It's set 10:30 and 1:00. You're going to see your chums. They're there. So it's almost like you have to now put that in place. So, hey guys, let's just, or once a week, you start with once a week or once every 2 weeks, whatever feels like comfortable for you. And then just do that. I hope that's helpful.
Yeah,
that is
definitely.
So helpful.
I think we can wrap it up here.
Guys, that was an incredible episode. Krystle, thank you so much for coming on. You're such a blessing to this episode. So any new subscribers or any new people to this channel, make sure to subscribe. Leave a comment of what was your favorite part and what was your favorite topic. It was really awesome. And see you on the next episode. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you know when we post. Krystle's link will be in the description, and check her out. Yeah. So see you guys. Have a great week.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Let's go.
Cheers.